Hello friends, welcome to yet another video of Hindu Judaic. Today we will talk about India buys world's emptiest airport in a bid to checkmate China. Hindu Judaic requests you to please subscribe our channel, and if you have already subscribed the channel, please click on the bell icon to get the notification of each video upload from Hindu Judaic. Airport Authority of India has entered into a joint venture with Sri Lanka's Civil Aviation Department to operate the $201 million airport, described as the world's emptiest airport, since no commercial airlines operates out of it. Which airport we are talking about? It's the Matala Rajapaksa International Airport in Hambantota. AAI will acquire a 70% controlling stake in the airport and operate it for 30 years. MRIA is just 15 kilometers north of Hambantota Port, which Sri Lanka handed over to China in December 2017 on a 99-year lease. This raised security concerns in India, and though Sri Lanka has repeatedly asserted that China will never be allowed to use Hambantota as a naval base, India was not fully convinced. Hambantota in South Sri Lanka overlooks some of the world's busiest shipping lanes through the Indian Ocean. These shipping lanes are very important for China, which depends on them to meet its energy needs and for raw materials for its many industries that fuel its gargantuan economy. Indian security establishment feel that control over Hambantota port would provide China a huge strategic advantage over a vital chunk of the Indian Ocean and the shipping lanes passing through it. Sri Lanka has become deeply indebted to China and is in no position to repay the huge loans it has taken from China. Sri Lanka owes more than $8 billion to state-controlled Chinese firms for the major infrastructure projects undertaken during former Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa's tenure. All these projects are now white elephants, and Colombo finds itself in a helpless position. Sri Lanka's strategic position makes it vital to securing major sea lanes in the Indian Ocean. To the south, the island's coast fronts the greater Indian Ocean, and to the north, it opens to the Indian Ocean's marginal seas, the Arabian Sea, Gulf of Mannar, Park Bay, and the Bay of Bengal. The island sits approximately halfway between the Suez and the Strait of Malacca, the key maritime choke points to the east and west, and along routes from the Strait of Hormuz, which most of Asia's energy supplies transit. It is in view of this that India acquiring a controlling stake at the Hambantota Airport is of such great strategic importance. India can keep a hawk's eye now from the skies over Hambantota thanks to its majority stake at the airport. A naval base also requires maritime air surveillance capabilities. Control over Hambantota Airport will give India considerable control over how the Hambantota port is used. It is difficult to conceive of the Chinese Navy developing a significant facility at Hambantota without also controlling the airport. In short, India is spending $300 million buying an airport to block a Chinese naval base. Top officials in Sri Lanka say that though the deal has erased roughly $1 billion in debt for the port project, the island nation is more in debt to China than ever since loans for major infrastructure projects were taken by Rajapaksa at rates much higher than those charged by international lenders. Sri Lanka's precarious financial state can be judged from this statistic. Though it will generate $14.8 billion in revenue this year, it will have to pay around $12.3 billion as debt servicing to international lenders, primarily the Chinese. Also, Hambantota port will not generate much revenue. Ever since the port was commissioned, few ships have docked there as it is a dead port. The question that arises is why have the Chinese taken over the port? The only way to justify the investment in Hambantota is from a national security standpoint, that they will bring the People's Liberation Army in. China has acquired Hambantota port to ultimately use it as a naval base to exert control over and monitor the busy shipping lanes south of the port. India has checkmated China on this through a two-pronged strategy. New Delhi quietly worked with Colombo and got it to shift its southern naval headquarters from Galle to Hambantota. With the Sri Lankan Navy moving into Hambantota and India acquiring a controlling stake at the airport that overlooks the port, China can no longer use the port as a strategic base. Clearly, this is the master stroke to checkmate China. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe for more such videos. Thank you.